A super overstimulated night on the eve of the world's destruction, and at 56 Low Street, I, Jack Smith, Mad Angus, and Tony sit about in a casual evening. Angus bowing on a mandolin, Tony tweaking another mandolin in the normal way, and I wearing all my jewels. I have 3 pairs of earrings on and 5 diamond bracelets and 2 necklaces and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 brooches. And I'm about to read my story, my short story, Lace Evening Gowns, Damnees, which I will commence. And Francine fixed up this millionaire on some street corner on Halloween, and she was in drag. Halloween is the only night that Francine gets into drag. And once I met her on 8th Street, and she looked like a scrub woman. She was wearing a babushka, a house dress, sneakers, and so forth. So she must have gotten into a ludicrous conversation with this millionaire about her longings for costume jewelry and doilies in her home, her happy home. And he probably saw how ludicrous it would be if she were covered with jewelry, and he offered to pay her expenses for 2 weeks of being a cunt at an expensive hotel in Miami Beach. And Francine, my best friend, ex-hermaphrodite star of carnivals and sideshows, in the Atlantis Hotel in Miami Beach with its giant conch-shaped lobby and its steaming lagoon pool. Oh, Francine, I said, it's pure stunning. The millionaire let her take me along. Oh, when can we go out shopping for our evening gowns, I cried. I want to wear nothing but evening gowns and just come out at night. Maybe I'll be a man in the day and a cunt at night. We could take turns being each other's escorts. I wanted us to have some homos brought up to our apartment and be fitted, but Francine didn't want to wait. She wanted to start that same night. So we went to a department store. Francine was wearing her double-breasted powder blue Bermuda shorts suit, powder blue long stockings, and white sandals. I was dressed as inconspicuously as possible. Frankie looked lowbrow, but she had a mad pseudo-hauteur that was her idea of how rich people act, and it stunned salespeople or sort of paralyzed them temporarily, and they seemed to treat her with respect. You do the talking, I said. And very well, she said. A white-haired, elegant saleslady approached us as we had been hanging around for a few minutes. Horror and distaste dripped from her. Is there anything you wanted? She said. Yes. Frankie said in her rich woman's voice, "Where are the evening gowns?" "What size?" the woman said with disgust. "Oh," Frankie said, and put her hands daintily on her waist. And there was a flaming silence. The saleswoman held her breath and pouted her lips and looked shrewdly at the saleswoman. "My size." The saleswoman let off her breath, but didn't say anything. Her eyes were wide and fixed on Frankie. "You see," said Frankie, "I'm in theatricals." And indeed, she used to be in theatricals. I mean, in her carnival days, she was Frances Francine, hermaphrodite star of sideshows. She went on to make it seem as if she didn't want to buy an evening gown, but she was thrown by circumstances into the position of having to. She, in fact, wasn't the least interested in evening gowns, as her casual and funny little cracks showed as we browsed among the EGs. We thought our fate there amongst the EGs, and grudgingly admired some of them, the lovely darlings. I was stunned by one very drapey gold lame job that exposed my back and had a slit skirt and slashed long sleeves. I always have to have high necklines to cover the hair on my chest, but Frankie's chest is perfectly hairless, so she always wears low necklines and stuffs her bras big as she can, almost pigeon-breasted. When the sales lady wasn't listening, we creamed about the EGs in whispers, but when she could hear what we were saying, we said sarcastic things about them, such as Arlene Dahl born in this one, Jean Harlow died in this one, and Gloria Jean was raped in this one, etc., etc. We pathetically tried to suck up as much impressions as we could, because we were hyper-aware that we couldn't stay there forever, and we didn't want to become conspicuous by staying there too long, because we were secretly afraid that the whole store would find out. It was a struggle to remain calm. I heard a muffled scream from Frankie. "Oh, Jack, isn't this startling?" she said in a desperate whisper. I looked at the thing that she was holding, and my heart sank. It was a bouffant powder blue job, all covered with ruffles and net and cabbage roses and ribbons and everything. "It looks like a Puerto Rican graduation dress," I said. "If she were to wear that thing, the game would be up, because no normal woman of her age would wear a thing like that. After all, you have to consider that Francine is pushing 40, and some of her front teeth are missing. Her figure has become somewhat square and muscular, and she has a pronounced hard features, and she would be surrealistic in that get-up and attract as much attention, even if she were a woman that we would, of course, be seen through, not being cunts, with all that amount of attention. Like, who would throw a glaring spotlight on something you wanted to cover up? No use to talk to her. It was her dream come true, the goosey that she never had as a girl. Better to get it over with. I also found myself a slinky black jet beater job with long sleeves and a chiffon cascade down the back. It had a drapey boat neckline. Then I talked Frankie into getting a divine tropical printed job that was all drapey and side swept, and we got quite a few more. In fact, we had bought 38 evening gowns when we left. They were all expensive ones too. We were practically ecstatic when we left the department store, the evening gown department. In fact, we were ecstatic. They would be delivered late that afternoon, We couldn't decide whether to be blondes or brunettes, so we got a lot of different colored wigs. Our jewels would take another whole day to buy, but we had to have some for tonight. So I got a gigantic jet brooch, jet earrings, and a nice mess of diamond bracelets. Then we went to a delicatessen and got some caviar, cherry soda, potato salad, cold chicken, pickles, and Frankie wanted some Brussels sprouts, and her favorite vegetable, and I wanted chocolate eclairs, and we took all our packages up to our room. Our room was all white, the rug, the furniture, etc. I flung my cunt up on a chaise lounge, and Francine threw her pussy on the bed. Then she couldn't sit still no more, because she was overstimulated, and she threw on her house dress, and we turned on the TV and ate. I was so full I passed out. I woke up when I heard people talking. The delivery boys were bringing our EGs. Frankie was being upset by the delivery boys. When they were gone, her nerves were badly shaken. I tried to be calm and comfort her. Frankie, dear, let me make you some nice coffee and we'll lap up some chocolate eclairs, I said, to take her mind off the delivery boys. An hour later, and she was all right again, and cheerful. We realized with a thrill, though, that we had to try on our EGs. So we ran into the living room and snatched open all the boxes and had an EG orgy, trying them on. When I wanted to attract her attention, I would let off a scream, and she started screaming too. Soon we were both screaming out of overstimulation. The room simply shimmered with shrill screams. Then I think I got high, or reality disappeared, and I seemed to be struggling for breath in a sea of evening gowns, and I thought that a volcano was going to erupt, EGs, and I realized that I could only wear one at a time, and so I had to choose one to climb up the sacred volcano in. I kept screaming at Frankie that we would all be showered with red-hot, liquescent, flaming EGs. Then I sunk senseless to the floor, the white fur rug floor, in a tight silver and black sequin job, and I lay there moaning and laughing as I imagined that each evening gown came to life with the appropriate movie queen in it, and we were all accusing each other of being whores and streetwalkers and screaming at the top of our gilded lungs. Frankie crawled to the phone and lay there on the floor in a flaming red bouffant number, ordering ice and her idea of the voice of a rich call girl. I couldn't talk her out of wearing her powder blue flounce job, so in about midnight we trailed down the grand staircase. I tried to look like I wasn't with her, because beside the powder blue job, she had a yellow wig, a green brocade wrap, pink gloves, a handful of orchids, and silver eyeshadow. She had a mess of egret feathers in her hair. I was afraid she'd trip on the stairs. I was talking to her, but I was looking elsewhere with my eyes. Nobody noticed me anyway. I was very convincing in a white satin clinging job with a platinum blonde wig, and I carried a large ostrich feather fan that I could cover my face with when I spotted any plainclothesman or fuzz, and also I covered erections up with the fan. I wanted to go right to the Starlight Terrazzo, but Frankie wanted to cruise the grill. I told her she'd look ludicrous in there, but she insisted. While we were there, we ate some frankfurters with sauerkraut. Some low creatures let off different disgusting remarks, so we fled out of there. We milled around in the throng. I pretended to be haughty, but soon my eyes were wandering as usual. Quite a few stunning men looked at me with normal desire, but it only made me feel sad and ludicrous because I was not what they thought. True, I was not what they thought, and I seemed to be honest. There's something about my honesty made me feel such a way. Oh well, I thought I'd just have to dig it for its interesting qualities, if not for its pragmatic attributes. Oddly, Francine was going up in flames. She laughed and giggled and rolled her eyes. Her cheeks flushed hotly. I imagine they flushed hotly. She had so much makeup on that who knew what was going on under there. And her eyes were sparkly, and she said that she felt bubbly. Ah, Francine, enjoy yourself tonight, I thought to myself, for someday you will be dead, my dear.